Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them, fuck the slow mo.
I'm David.
And I'm James.
And this is Fighting Words Radio. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't like what you hear, hit the comments section and let us know.
This week, Canelo Alvarez declined on doing VADA testing. How do you feel like it?
So the backstory on this was kind of weird. I didn't even know initially that they were doing VADA testing, Canelo Alvarez and Liam Smith, for their fight September 17th at Cowboys Stadium in Texas. And then VADA put out a couple statements on their website saying that Liam Smith was no longer participating in the program and Canelo Alvarez was no longer participating in the program. And we didn't really get any other detail until reporters looked into it and said, well, Liam Smith is not looking to participate, and Canelo is saying, well, if he's not doing it, then I'm not going to do it. And given this era of drug testing, you know, not everybody's doing it, but when you have the opportunity and you have the money and you decline to do it, it makes me wonder what's going on. But I know that you don't really think it's a big deal.
I don't think it's a big deal. They spoke to Eric Gomez, Senior VP of Golden Boy, and he said, we tried to start the program. Unfortunately, it was too late. I think that type of thing probably should have been worked out with the initial contract.
Well, it never is.
It should be. It should be.
And that's the thing that we see so often is that they'll agree on the fact that they're going to fight. They'll agree on the venue. They'll agree on, you know, all the other minutia and important things of a contract. But the drug testing always comes very late, and then they end up starting it, you know, very late into the process. I don't even know when it was supposed to start, but doing it barely a month before a fight, when the guys are going to be getting their gains in training camp long before that, they're going to need to use the PEDs to recover from that. It's not about the day of testing that you used to only get in some of these commissions. But again, you still don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe I'm being naive, but I think Canelo's clean, number one. I mean, he's at an age, like, I usually see guys doping, like, later in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he's at an age, and, you know, his metabolic rate is still young. He's youthful, and I don't think he needs the help of, like, weight-cutting agents or any of that. I mean, he picks his own weights anyway. Yeah. So it's like, with that said, I don't think he's going to need the help of PEDs.
So, you know, he'd been coming in at 155. This fight is at 154. Sometimes that extra pound kills you. I mean, Lord knows I can't lose weight with all the beer that I drink, all the ice cream that I eat. Even though he was at 154.5 in a recent fight, I think he could make down to 154 pretty easy. But, you know, guys do start early, or athletes do start early. You have high school athletes who are doing PEDs to try to make it to college ball. College ballers are doing PEDs to try to make it into the pros. But we're talking about this just about Canelo or just about Liam Smith. I don't know whether doing or not doing drug testing. Well, I'll say this. Not doing drug testing doesn't mean that you're dirty in my mind. What about you?
Certain cases. Pacquiao Marquez.
Okay. We're gonna
all that acne on.
We're gonna put in that this is just what James believes. He's not saying that it is to be true.
Oh no.
We're a new show. Please don't sue us just yet.
Nah. I just look at the pictures. And hey, it look funny.
I got you. And there are things that we suspect, but even with advanced drug testing, it doesn't necessarily mean that a guy is clean because it's such a cat and mouse game.
Exactly.
You can know how to beat the system and know what the tests are and, you know, still be signing up for the stuff. I mean, nobody remembers, or maybe people don't remember, that it was Andre Berto who had wanted the advanced drug testing for the fight with Victor Ortiz, the rematch with Victor Ortiz. And it was Andre Berto who got popped afterward.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting in there. Look, it was Liam Smith who pulled out first, and you think that when Liam Smith pulled out, Canelo shouldn't have to keep on going forward with the VADA testing?
I don't think, number one, Canelo, I don't think he cares that much. I don't think Golden Boy would want to shell out that extra money for the testing. And that's pretty much it. Like, hey, why do it?
I think that Canelo could set an example. I love the fact that we are finally getting more drug testing than before. The WBC, and mind you, Canelo is the WBO title holder at Liam Smith is the WBO title holder at 154. Canelo doesn't have the WBC title anymore. If he wants to stay rated by the WBC, he would have to do their new drug testing program.
Oh, really?
I think it's good that the WBC is doing this through VADA. We don't know how often the tests are because, look, Major League Baseball, when they started drug testing back in, 2003, 2004, it's a big deal, but they were still only testing guys 2 times a year.
Right,
We don't know how often it's going to be. Look, there's more drug testing going on. I think it's good to set that example so that others do it. It's something where Canelo would have the money to do it and maybe other guys wouldn't. Golden Boy has the money to do it, whereas other promoters won't do it. You don't see like a main event or some of these other smaller promoters paying for drug testing, partially because of the expense on the bottom line, and partially
Right.
because what if the event gets canceled and then they're out on the
that
line
too.
for that.
Yeah, some much smaller entities suffer way more if the fight gets canceled. So yeah.
I'm disappointed in it. I can't say that this means that one party or both parties are doping or plan to dope or that they made this decision because of that. I don't know whether Liam Smith was influenced at all by Tyson Fury, and he's accusing the drug testing in the UK of catching him for something that really wasn't a dirty test. I don't know. It wasn't, as far as I know, asked about on the conference call that Liam Smith recently did, which I unfortunately had to bolt out on. We don't know the information, and I don't know whether the general population even cares about drug testing. You've been a boxing fan for how long?
I want to say 98.
Okay, so for 17 years or 18 years, and you're a sports fan in general. Do you care whether your athletes are doping?
Definitely care if they're doping, but it definitely matters more with certain matchups. Like obviously, Golovkin versus Canelo is a fight that we want to see. For that fight, oh yeah, we want to make sure that both guys are on as even a playing field as you can get them.
Why do you care so little about Canelo versus Liam Smith?
It's just not the fight that we wanted anyway. And I think it's like, I don't know. Maybe this is premature, but I think a lot of people expect Canelo to walk through Smith. And I think because of that, it kind of gives us this idea of, okay, this is kind of like a appetizer. But when we get to the main course, that's when we want you guys both testing.
I got you. And the thing is, not that this excuses it, but most boxers aren't doing advanced drug testing. Most sanctioning bodies aren't doing advanced drug testing. Most commissions aren't doing, very stringent drug testing. Texas is not doing what Nevada does or what California does. Are they?
They do, because VADA is blood and urine.
Yeah.
What's different from their process and the WBOs?
Well, it just depends on what they're testing for and when they're testing. So you can take blood and urine, but if you're not running the specific test, saying let's test for EPO, let's test for testosterone, let's do a carbon isotope ratio test to test for exogenous testosterone. So it's not a one size fits all, apples to apples approach. But again, most athletes aren't doing it, which is why I'm hoping that they set an example for it. We're better than we used to be in many ways, but it's not there yet. And hopefully we will get to that day and age. But promoters have been asked about this for a while, and it's still not the rule. With PBC, when they started up, they said that everybody was going to be drug tested. We don't know a lot of the details about that. UFC is doing more drug testing now.
Definitely.
They're catching John Jones and
Everybody, Brock.
Yeah. So these guys are getting caught that way. It's still an IQ test.
Yeah, I think that the overall problems that are in boxing right now, as far as matchups, overshadows the the testing problem. I think people care more about seeing the fights they want to see, those matchups, and VADA testing becomes an afterthought.
So to paraphrase Jay-Z, boxing's got 99 problems and PED testing is just one.
Just one.
All right. Well, if you've got a problem with Fighting Words Radio, please let us know in the comments section. But if you love us, please enhance our performance and hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
I'm David. This is James. Thank you for listening.
All right.